So I wanted to put all of the self-harming, suicidal, and depressed, whatever, I wanted to put all three of those in one video because I did think of doing them separately in like separate videos, but then it's like all of the points are kind of the same. Some of them are slightly different, or like a couple of them are very specific to one or the other, but for the most part, they're all kind of the same. So I was kind of like, why not just put them all in one video? But yeah, anyways, I guess I'll start with the do's, what you should do if someone is any of these or all of these or whatever. Um, and then later I'll go with the don't do sort of thing. So yeah. So first thing I guess would be, you know, stay calm if they tell you, or if you find out, you should try to stay calm as you can. And then also be patient with them if, like, they tell you stuff, and, don't try to push them into telling you anything or doing anything. You should let them know that you are there for them, and if they, need you at all, then they can talk to you. But also at the same time, it's like, as long as you have time and energy and whatever to talk to them and all that, then you should do it. But if you don't have the time or energy, then you shouldn't really take it upon yourself to do that. You could try to help them get someone else to help them, or like, you could tell someone else that, like, I mean, sometimes it's a little like, should you tell someone, should you not tell someone? Because, like, sometimes it's like, it depends on the person, like, who you're telling. Because some people are just, you shouldn't tell, but other people it's fine to tell. But, it all depends. You should always take care of yourself first before taking care of other people, because you can't help people if you yourself are not taken care of. So you should put yourself first, and then, you know, of course, if someone's suicidal and stuff, it's like you want to help them. It's important. You don't want them to kill themselves. But you can't really help them unless you help yourself first. So always do that first. Um, and then you can do what you can to help them. And if that doesn't work, then, you did what you could. So, you know, you should always like support them, be respectful. If they set boundaries, you should respect their boundaries, and be there when you can. Only if you really can. Don't burn yourself out, because then you can't take care of anyone if you're burnt out yourself. Try to uplift them, make them feel better. You should listen to them. Always listen to them. You could try to, do some like relate to them sort of thing, but always like you shouldn't really compare your struggles to theirs, because it's not always going to be the same. No one has the same exact struggles, but if you kind of say something about like, oh hey, I had a similar situation with this person or something, or whatever, and then maybe you guys can kind of, you know, understand each other, bridge the gap in between there, let them know that kind of know what it's like. Obviously, no one knows exactly what it's like for the other person, but there could be a little bit of a bridge there. And then you should always do research, make sure you know what you're talking about and know what you're, try to understand it more with the research. And then also with the boundaries, like, you should have your boundaries, they can have their boundaries. That's important. And you can check in on them every once in a while and see how they're doing. And then also, if there's any problem, then you can call an ambulance, because, you don't want that whole thing. Obviously, don't call an ambulance if, there's no need for an ambulance, but if they do need it, then they need it. Um, and then if someone tries to kill themselves, then you should stay with them, and just try to make sure they don't do it. And then, if they have any injuries, then you could try to help them take care of it. But I guess it's like only if they allow you to touch it, because some people don't really want that. Um, and then I think that's kind of it for the do's. I could add more maybe later. I have like a whole list thing of do's and don'ts here, so I could add more, but this is just a video version, so I can't really edit the video later and add stuff in once it's uploaded. So if you want to see the list part, I could maybe put in the description once the list is out and once I have it done, and like, I can update it whenever. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to the don't. You should not do these things if someone is self-harming or suicidal or depressed. So, you should not force them to tell you anything or talk to you about it, because some people don't want to talk about it or don't want to tell people about it. Again, you should be patient with them. Don't be trying to be pushy. Don't judge them either. You don't know exactly what the hell is going on, so you should try to keep an open mind and not judge people. And then don't force them to do anything they don't want to do either. So you shouldn't force them to tell you or talk to you or do anything else that they don't want to do. Don't try to control them. Don't, they if they're gonna do something, they're probably just, gonna do it anyways. So, even if it might kill them, like, obviously you should try to stop them from killing themselves, but, like, if they really, really, really wanted to do it, they're probably gonna do it anyways. So there's only so much you can really do. And then you shouldn't, ignore them, but also don't overly focus on, like, if someone has self-harm scars from whatever they were doing, you shouldn't completely ignore it, but you should also not overly focus on it. You shouldn't overly focus on, like, oh, they're so sad and depressed and they're so suicidal. Like, you should try to, you know, basically, like, walk on an eggshell type of thing. Tread lightly with it because it's a very serious thing. Um, and then don't call people attention seeking for self harm or suicide or depression, because it's like they can't really control that they're suicidal or depressed. So it's kind of shitty to say they're attention seeking. Like, some people might do it for attention, like some people might self harm for attention, but other people, I feel like usually most people don't do it for attention, and most people try to hide their self harm, and most people try to, cover it up and whatever. Most people are doing it because they feel like they, like, deserve to be hurt and stuff. So it's not always for attention. So you shouldn't call them attention seeking if they're self-harming or anything. And then if they are self-harming or depressed, you shouldn't always assume that they want to kill themselves, because not everyone who does self-harm or is depressed is suicidal. Like, they can be all three or just a couple of them and not do the other, if, Um, don't dismiss how they feel. Like, if they're depressed over one thing, it's kind of just like, you shouldn't just be like, oh no, you shouldn't be depressed about that. Like, their feelings are valid as yours. Like, would you want someone dismissing you for being depressed over something? Probably not. So why should you dismiss them for that? Um, you shouldn't try to push them to answer any questions, and you shouldn't bombard them with a billion questions, because then they're just going to be overwhelmed and not want to be around you. So just, again, tread lightly, just chill for a bit and try to, you know, maybe you could ask a couple things, but if they don't answer or they don't want to or they don't even like sometimes they don't even know the answer themselves. So you you know, it's kind of just like don't be pushy with anything. Don't be like telling them to get over it or man up or grow up or whatever. Like it's shitty to tell them to just get over it. When someone's depressed, they can't just get over it. They can't just be happy or cheer up or whatever. It's not just, oh, I'm sad. It's literally more than that. So don't be saying stupid shit like that to them. And don't be making them feel guilty or shamed or be like, oh, you have so many good things to be happy about. Like, don't tell them like, oh, your life is so good. Like, you don't know what the fuck is going on there, so you can't just tell them that their life is perfect or good or whatever. And you shouldn't go around telling anyone and everyone about, oh, this person's depressed, this person's suicidal. Like, don't, like, if you really feel like you need to tell someone, then you should tell someone that you trust and that you know won't be shitty about it. And, you know, don't be telling anyone and everyone just because you want to or whatever. Um, don't try to make them hurt themselves and don't make jokes about it. Don't laugh at them and don't be talking down to them, acting like they're stupid or anything. You shouldn't tell them other people have it worse or like, oh, it could be worse. Like, we know it could be worse. We know other people have it worse, but it doesn't make it any better for us. And don't tell them they don't have any reason to feel like that. It's kind of just like, you don't know what their reasons are if they didn't tell you the reasons, then you don't fucking know. So why are you saying it? And don't downplay how serious any of it is, because, all three of those things are very serious. Don't compare them to other people. And then you shouldn't tell them that they should be grateful for everything that they have, because sometimes it's like you feel like you have nothing. So it's kind of just like, why would you tell them, it's kind of just, what the fuck? But yeah, I think that's kind of it. They're all kind of, the same there. They're all very similar. Only a couple of them were kind of slightly different, but yeah. Um, Anyways, I guess that's it for this video, and if there is any other things that you should or shouldn't do, I will probably put it in like the description or maybe a pinned comment down below, and then there'll be like extra stuff down there. And yeah, so anyways, I guess that's it. So bye then.